What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another one. If you're new to the channel, I am Gold Pony. I do new car, truck, SUV reviews on YouTube, and today we're in the brand new 2025 Subaru Forester, courtesy of Sioka Subaru in York, PA. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So today we're in this one because the 2025 Forester has, of course, been completely redesigned for 2025. You still have that legendary symmetrical all-wheel drive system as well, of course. And in case you're curious, this one does compete with the Honda CR-V, Mazda CX-5, and the Toyota RAV4. Well, just in case you were curious. But ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about the Forester, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so as you can imagine, there are so many different trim levels for the 2025 Forester. First trim is going to be the base, starting at $29,695, premium for $31,995, sport for $34,495, limited for $35,995, and lastly the touring, being the one we are in today, starting at $39,995. But to make things a little bit simpler though, regardless of the trim level that you go with, the power plant is going to be the same. Powering the Forester is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder boxer engine, putting out 180 horsepower at 5,800 RPM, 178 pound-feet of torque coming in at 3,700 RPM. That power being sent to all four wheels through Subaru's legendary symmetrical all-wheel drive system. That power being sent to the ground through a Lineartronic CVT. 0 to 60 times should come in at approximately 8.3 seconds, with MPG numbers coming in at 26 in the city, 33 on the highway, taking regular unleaded fuel. But so that before we do any kind of fun acceleration test or paddle shifter test here in the Forester, I did want to mention to you guys the drive modes. This is called SI drive. If you're familiar with Subaru, you have heard of that before. Those buttons are located on the right-hand side of the steering wheel, essentially adjust things like the shift points and the throttle response. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the S out of the S and the I, because that is going to be the sport kind of driving mode, so to speak. So let's go ahead and find it straight away. Like I mentioned, we do have paddle shifters. They're going to come on the sport and the touring, and let's see how quickly these paddle shifters are going to react for us. I put it that way because we're not actually going to be shifting through any gears because of the continuously variable transmission, of course, but we're still going to give it a shot. Let's see if they're fun. All right, so before we do this paddle shifter test here real quick, I do want to mention to you guys there is a full manual shift mode. Kind of, if you slide the shifter all the way to the back and to the left, it's going to display what simulated gear you were in up on the digital portion of the gauges. So now that we are in first gear, let me pull out onto the road here and let's see if it shifts for me first off. It does not. That's good. Let's go. I mean, I have felt simulated automatics a little bit better than that as far as CVTs go, but yeah, it still feels like a CVT, so I don't know. They're there for you if you want to play around with them. I probably personally would not play around with those paddle shifters just because this is a continuously variable transmission after all, but yeah, just let them go. They are there though if you wanted them. But let's go ahead and find one more straight away. Let's actually put the acceleration here to the test with the Forester having full control, and let's see how quickly we can get this one here up to speed. All right, let's do this from a standstill here in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. It's actually all right. I mean, I like the initial punch, I will say that, because this isn't a turbocharged engine. You did have that initial punch at the very beginning, which is great because so many vehicles are turbocharged these days. But having said that, after the initial punch, it was kind of slow, as expected for the Forester. But you know what? The trade-off of that typically is better reliability. So, you know, anywho, what I'm saying is you more than likely are going to get used to that. You shouldn't have any issues emerging onto the highway. But to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So up front, you will find 12.4-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 11.8-inch solid rear discs. As far as that 60-0 stopping distance goes, that comes in at 125 feet, which is pretty much par for the course, quite honestly, for the segment. As far as braking feel goes, it's great. It actually feels really good. So it's not a super firm braking feel, but it's not a kind of soft braking feel either. It's kind of just right in the middle. So it's kind of like that 125-foot number. It's just right in the middle. So it's not a 1-teens, which is the sport sedan, or it's not a 3-row SUV, which is typically 130s. It's just smack dab in the middle. But anyways, to go along with that braking, let's now touch on suspension and handling up front. You're going to get an independent strut type front suspension. In the back, independent double wishbone type rear suspension, front and rear stabilizer bars, and Subaru actually said for the 2025 Forester, you have a new power steering system that actually shares components with the WRX. So that's kind of cool. So I don't know, as far as steering feel goes, I will say it's definitely on the looser side of things. Now at slower speeds, it actually does feel a little bit heavier, but as you get up kind of higher in the speeds, it is a pretty darn loose steering feel, I will say that, but wouldn't have minded a bit heavier of a feel in my personal opinion. But then touching on cabin noise, we're going 13 miles per hour right now, so obviously there isn't a whole lot of exterior wind noise or road noise coming into the cabin right now. But the only thing I really notice is when you do kind of get higher up in speeds, the engine noise is a little bit pronounced, but everything else is pretty darn good as far as the lack of wind noise and road noise coming into the cabin. So that was actually kind of impressive. So I actually don't mind it. They did a pretty good job with that. As far as ride quality goes, now that's actually really good. Like, I haven't had any issues whatsoever in my short little test drive here today. It's definitely been absorbing York's imperfections quite nicely. So it just went over the manhole right there. So I actually really like it. So ride quality is perfectly fine. Touching on rear visibility here, because of the shape of the Forester, you're 100% not going to have any issues with that. I could see perfectly out my rear view mirror. So that is certainly 100% on point. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2025 Subaru Forester. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2025 Subaru Forester, finished in brilliant bronze metallic. In case you were curious of our exact exterior color name that we had on this one with us here today. But again, a fresh exterior design for 2025. Let me know what you guys think of it in the comments section below. I am curious what you think. But let's go ahead and start with where this one is made. Taking a look at the VIN, first character is the letter J, indicating that the new Forester is still built and assembled in Japan, as it should be in my opinion. But starting up front, refreshed LED steering responsive headlights, and I love that they are still steering responsive. That essentially means when you're going around a bend at night, those headlights are going to swivel based on the direction of your steering angle, better help illuminating what is around that bend, so you're less likely to hit a deer or an alien or Sasquatch or a gnome or whatever the case. So that's a safety feature in itself, really. Of course, you still get LED daytime running lights, you get the automatic feature, you get automatic high beams though as well. So if you have your high beams on at night and it senses a vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them back to low beams, and when that vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically bounce it back up to high beams for you there. LED fog lights down below, you guys can see those in the bottom corners. They're going to come on all trim levels but that bottom base trim level, in case you were curious about that. But a lot of gloss black finishes for the front grille. Let me know what you guys think again in the comments section below. I don't know what to think personally, but anyhow, that pretty much rounds out the front end. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the side. All right, so now since we are around to the side of the Forester here, raised roof rails are going to come on the base, premium, and limited trim levels. However, you're going to get low profile roof rails for the sport and touring like we have today. That's what you guys are looking at right there. Black side mirrors will come on the base, dark gray side mirrors for the premium and limited, and then a crystal black finish for the sport and touring. And if you were to go with that sport, you're also going to get integrated turn signals in those side mirrors. Then the premium trim level and up is going to make those side mirrors heated then as well. Then take a look down at the wheel setup. 17-inch aluminum alloys for the base and the premium, 19-inch aluminum alloys then for the sport trim level and up. Kind of an interesting kind of design element. A lot of times I'll say it has a floating roof line, which essentially is just that little black horizontal bar that separates the roof from the rest of the body. But you do have that on the A pillar as well. That's kind of a unique element that you don't traditionally see with floating roof lines. But of course, you got it on the C pillar in the back. And another little interesting element here is the C pillar roofline kind of separation here does say symmetrical all-wheel drive on it. So that's kind of different. They've never had that on the Forester before, although that is the best all-wheel drive system in existence. So I can see how they would want to advertise that, because it is the best. That's been proven in the snow, for example. That all-wheel drive system, by the way, that was originally bred for rally racing in the dirt and the snow. So that pretty much says it all right there. But anyways, that pretty much rounds out the side profile of the Forester. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the back. All right, so now since we are around to the back of this one, if you look all the way to the top there, you will find a shark fin antenna. Just below that, rear spoiler with an integrated brake light. Just below that, rear window wiper. You do have that Forester lettering found on the rear tailgate there, spelled out horizontally. Some trim level badging. You got Redesigned LED tail lights. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below of those. And then just below it all, you will find a single exhaust outlet. However, if you were to go with the sport trim level and up, that will come finished with a stainless steel tip, which you guys know, I always love the exposed exhaust look. I think it looks good back there, but nonetheless, I do think you know what we have to do next here. As always, here is that exhaust clip. Alright, so now since we are around to the back of the Forester, when it comes to opening that rear lift gate, it is going to be a hands-free power lift gate if you were to go with the limited or touring trim levels, but there is a button on the key fob as well. There's a rubberized button on the lift gate then as well. But once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 27.5 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, there is a 60-40 split, meaning that rear seat does fold down, bumping that up to 69.1 cubic feet then. You got some tie-down anchors back there. There's LED cargo lighting. 12-volt power outlet I found back there as well. There is a cargo cover. There are so many grocery bag hooks. This is the most grocery bag hooks I have ever seen in the back of a vehicle before. There's 2 on both sides, and then there's this like massive circular type of thing, which you could probably hook some grocery bags on as well, quite honestly. So plenty going on in the cargo area. Then if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you're actually going to find some compartmentalized in-floor storage, which you typically don't find all the time. So I like that. And then if you were to lift up underneath of that in-floor storage, you're actually going to find the spare tire. That's where that is located. But then making our way up to the rear legroom, that comes in at 39.4 inches. For reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the back there. Rear center armrest with cup holders is going to come standard on the premium trim level and up, in case you were curious about that. Got some rear ventilation back there. Heated rear seats are going to come on the touring trim level then only, and a couple USB charging ports actually as well. So quite a bit going on for the rear passengers. The only thing missing, I think, is maybe some rear window sunshades for our top trim level, but other than that, rear seats are done plenty fine. Then making our way up to the front seats, manually adjustable cloth seating coming with the base. Cloth seating is also going to come in the premium though. You're going to get a StarTex upholstery, aka leatherette, for the sport, and then leather finishes for the limited and touring trim levels. Then a 10-way power driver seat is going to come in the premium trim level and up, and also with that premium trim level and up, you got heated front seats. Ventilated front seats are available. We actually do have those ventilated front seats with us here today too, but overall, as far as seat comfort goes, it was okay. There's a couple awkward pressure points, but I wish the power lumbar was a little bit more adjustable, but actually it is pretty adjustable. I take that back. I just wish it sunk in a little bit more. I'll put it that way. It does go out a good bit, but anyways, seating was okay. I didn't have any issues there, but now let's go ahead and take a look at the steering wheel. It is tilt and telescoping. It is going to be leather wrapped for the premium trim level and up. And then if you wanted a heated steering wheel for the super cold days in PA, unlike today, just go with the limited or touring trim levels. And that steering wheel button for the heated steering wheel is going to be located on the backhand right hand side of the steering wheel. I did describe that well, but it's okay. Now let's go ahead and make our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys the key. All of your buttons are located on one side of the key. You got lock, that button to pop the rear tailgate. The unlock button is going to be the Subaru logo, but it is all keyless entry with a push button start for the premium trim level and up. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button located just by the driver's right knee. And so once started up, tachometer is all the way to your left, speedometer is on your right. There is a small digital display front and center, and of course you can control what is on that digital display by using the steering wheel mounted controls found on the left side of the steering wheel. Kind of the gauge cluster that you've been seeing for forever now on Subaru. It does a full sweep upon startup. I'm surprised they haven't gone to a full digital gauge cluster yet, because so many other manufacturers have. I don't have any problem with these gauges, but I don't know, they're kind of basic. I would like to see a little more color to them. It's just a black and white design. I don't know, I miss the white gauge faces that there used to be back in the day, like back in the 90s. They look stinking cool, but anyhow, I guess these get the job done. But now let's go ahead and make our way to overall interior quality. A panoramic moonroof is going to come in the premium trim level and up. Overhead sunglass holder does come comes standard. LED interior lighting also coming standard. You get dual zone climate control, so both driver and passenger can set their own temperatures. Just in front of the shifter, you're going to find a wireless phone charger. That's going to be for the premium trim level and up. Love that. Also, surrounding the shifter, you're going to find a gloss black finish, a nice kind of leather wrap shift boot as well. Just behind the shifter is where your dual cup holders are, a 12-volt power outlet, electromechanical parking brake, and within the center armrest, there's actually a ton of storage within there, more so than I'm used to seeing. A couple extra little tidbits when it comes to interior quality. You got this wood look just above the passenger side glove box. That's probably plastic, but it looks good. Just above that though, you got this nice texturized hexagonal finish, so that's pretty cool to the touch. I don't know why, that's pretty cool, but a lot of soft touch finishes on the doors and gloss black accents. This is the top trim level after all, so in terms of fit and finish, this is done really, really well. You actually have a frameless rear view mirror too. I don't want to forget to mention that. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the infotainment screen here. You're going to find a 7-inch color touchscreen display for that base trim level. However, premium trim level and up is going to give you an 11.6-inch color touchscreen display. Bluetooth and audio streaming coming standard either way. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay as well. Factory navigation system is going to be specific to our touring trim level that we have with us here today. And of course, you can check out your radio information up there as well. So when it comes to the sound systems, there are actually 3 of them. Obviously, they're going to differ between the trim levels. The base trim is going to give you 4 speakers. Premium, Sport, and Limited are going to give you 6 speakers. And then the touring that we have today is going to give you an 11-speaker Harman Kardon sound system with 576 watts. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next here. Let's go ahead and turn on the radio. Let's see what's playing this morning, and let's test out the clarity of this one. Dang, ton of clarity with that sound system, without a doubt. Plenty of bass. That was actually really, really good. Super loud as well. I can't always say that, believe it or not, with all vehicles out there, but the only thing was the infotainment screen, it is a little bit laggy. When I was trying to find a different radio station, there was a little bit of a delay to it, so I'm not used to seeing that. But having said that, the sound system itself was plenty fine. But last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen, at least, is when you do put the Forester in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board. You actually got a 360-degree monitor there to the right as well, which is pretty stinking cool, but that is always going to lead us into safety. And so IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus, that is the best part. That's the very highest rating given by IIHS, so that pretty much says it all right there. Front side curtain airbags do come standard. You got a driver's knee airbag up front as well. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also in typical Subaru fashion, you got Subaru eyesight. So that's your advanced safety. That gives you adaptive cruise control with lane centering, pre-collision braking, lane departure and sway warning, lane keep assist, automatic emergency steering then as well. Then if you were to go with the sport trim level and up, that's going to add to that a blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert. Then the touring is going to add to that reverse automatic braking then as well. So overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the Forester, let me just start with the best part. Best safety. You can't beat an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus. If you got kids in the back, that is something that you always look for first. At least you should look for that first. So that's a great start right there. You get the very best all-wheel drive system in existence as well. That has been tested. The Subarus go further in the snow than any other manufacturer all-wheel drive system out there. So yeah, there's that as well. As far as room for improvement goes, I'm just going to cover the engine a little bit on the room for improvement. It's kind of loud when you really get on it. Not that that bothers me. I actually liked that, but it's not for everybody. So I did want to just mention that to start. And also, it's not the quickest thing in the world. Now, I know the flip side is they end up turbocharging the Forester in the future. Perhaps it's not going to be as reliable. So for that reason, I do want this engine to remain on the Forester because, of course, it's going to help with reliability. I'm just saying it is a little bit slow. Perhaps a hybrid powertrain. I don't know. Just my 2 cents. But let me know what you guys think of the redesigned Forester in the comments section below. That's about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on social media. If you wanted to see what's coming next on the channel before it gets to YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button. If you're into new car reviews, that is what we do here on this channel after all. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know. I will see you guys all in the next video. Stay gold.